you look at the current state of electric vehicles, what do you see? You see a lot of, well, long-range trucks, giant crossovers, and luxury SUVs.
Right.
They are long-range, they are heavy, and they are usually expensive. It feels like the mandate has been bigger is better.
Always bigger, yeah.
But today, we are hitting the brakes on that bigger is better trend to focus on something much smaller, much smarter, and frankly, maybe much more necessary: the Hyundai Inster.
That's right. This deep dive is really a shortcut to understanding a vehicle that represents a major shift in philosophy. We're looking at this concept of the essential urban EV.
Essential urban EV.
Yeah, we've pulled from comprehensive international data sheets, consumer reviews, and expert analysis to see why this compact car, even with its, let's say, modest 49 kilowatt-hour battery, might actually be the perfect, most logical fit for the vast majority of daily drivers. It really challenges the assumption that you need, continent crossing capability for a commuter vehicle.
Okay, let's unpack this then. The core idea here is really challenging that notion that we need massive range and massive size just because, well, the technology allows for it.
Exactly.
Our sources suggest the Inster is aiming squarely at urban reality, where parking, navigating tight streets, and efficiency matter way more than, say, towing capacity.
Yeah. And what struck me in the data is the core argument driving this design.
Yeah.
The sources point out that almost universally, people purchase EVs that are far too large, loaded with substantially more battery autonomy than they require for, 95% of their driving time.
Right, they're buying for the exception, not the rule.
Exactly. They're buying the car for that single, extremely rare long trip. The Inster explicitly counters this by focusing entirely on daily, urban, and short interurban use. It's a calculated decision.
It's a choice.
A choice to reduce weight, cost, and material consumption.
And you can feel that calculation immediately when you look at the physical dimensions, right?
Right.
Defines it as a true city car.
Oh, absolutely.
It is incredibly compact, measuring only 3.8 meters in length and 1.6 meters wide.
Tiny.
One source really drove home the point by noting it's even smaller than the long-retired Hyundai Getz.
Smaller than it gets. That really tells you something.
Yeah, it really drives home just how little pavement it needs. Perfect for, congested European or Asian city centers.
And that constrained size is kind of the genius of the design philosophy, isn't it? It consciously avoids pursuing excessive external size or battery capacity.
But they had to be clever inside.
Oh, incredibly clever with the interior packaging to make it usable. They did manage to offer good interior comfort. And surprisingly, the sources note you can actually accommodate 3 adults comfortably.
Comfortably, or tolerate each other comfortably.
Oh, reports suggest genuinely comfortable for 3, or 4 if you accept modest luggage.
Okay, so how does that work? Does the interior cleverness truly overcome that really short length?
It seems it does, largely because they optimize the space horizontally and vertically, not just lengthways.
Ah, using the flat floor?
Exactly. They utilize the inherent benefits of the EV platform, that flat floor, to maximize cabin volume. But the caveat, as we said, is the boot space. It's modest and adaptable. Definitely not cavernous.
Small outside, smart inside. As long as you're not moving house.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, let's move from the physical dimensions to the specifications, because the performance data is what really defines its capability and its identity.
Right.
We're focusing primarily on the long-range version, which is the subject of the main data sheet we looked at, and features a 49.0 kilowatt-hour BEV battery.
Yeah, though we should probably mention for context that a standard option exists too,
Oh, yeah.
with a 42 kilowatt-hour battery, providing still a decent 300 to 320 kilometers of range.
Okay, still pretty useful. But sticking with the long-range version, the WLTP autonomy sits comfortably around 355 kilometers to 360 kilometers.
And this is the crucial sweet spot, you see. The sources emphasize that this range is considered more than sufficient for city living and short interurban travel.
Right, covers most weekly commutes easily.
Yeah, allows for multiple days of commuting without needing a recharge. It provides daily utility without the significant material cost and weight penalty of, say, a 60 or maybe an 80 kilowatt-hour battery pack.
Okay. And performance-wise, it reflects that intentional urban mission, doesn't it? Acceleration from 0 to 100 kilometer takes around 11.7 seconds. Now, that might sound slow compared to some luxury EVs, but reviewers described it as feeling very responsive.
Responsive, yeah. And certainly quick enough for urban settings where you need that, quick torque off the line at a traffic light.
Right. The 0 to 30 matters more than 0 to 100 sometimes.
Exactly. That 11.7 seconds isn't really a limitation. It's an intentional compromise. By keeping the motor output moderate, they manage battery load and heat.
Ah, for efficiency.
Yeah, contributes directly to the car's efficiency and overall cost reduction. It's just an effective trade-off.
Okay, so trade-offs for efficiency make sense. Whether you're at the charger or at home, flexibility seems absolutely key. How does it handle the necessity of charging, especially for those occasional longer runs?
Well, a standout detail is the efficiency of its DC fast charging. Using a 100 kilowatt fast charger, which is, pretty readily available now,
Yeah, quite common.
you can restore 10% to 80% of the battery in roughly 30 minutes.
Half an hour. Okay, that's workable.
That half-hour stop is fast enough to make the occasional longer journey completely manageable without inducing serious range anxiety.
And they cover all the various AC charging scenarios too, right? Instead of just rattling off numbers, how does the flexibility look for a typical user at home or work?
Well, for serious home charging, you have options up to 22 kilowatt, depending on your local grid infrastructure, which is great for a rapid overnight top-up.
Right, if you have the setup.
Exactly. But critically, they also mention the standard 2.3 kilowatt wall plug option.
Ah, the regular socket.
Yeah, that's a huge win for apartment dwellers or those without dedicated garage installations. Allows for slow but, inevitable charging wherever a standard outlet exists.
Good point. They also threw in some practical bells and whistles beyond just filling the battery, didn't they?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We have the vehicle to load or V2L function.
E2L becoming standard now, it seems.
Increasingly popular, yeah. That allows you to power external equipment like a laptop at a campsite or maybe power tools using the car's battery.
Handy.
Plus, the charging port is conveniently positioned right there in the front of the vehicle.
Good thinking.
These features, they demonstrate Hyundai's understanding that even a small urban EV still needs to be versatile.
Okay, let's turn from the math to the aesthetic. How does Hyundai make this small car look exciting? Because here's where it gets really fun. The look and feel.
Yeah, it's that style.
The Inster refuses to be boring. The exterior is a wonderful blend of what the sources called funky city car charm and this almost rugged SUV-like...
It's a crossover vibe, yeah.
all tied together with that distinct pixel-style LED lighting. It definitely injects personality into the segment. It actually looks quite beautiful in a way.
I agree. The pixel aesthetic is a signature element of Hyundai's electrification approach, like on the ION IQ5, and it works beautifully here on a smaller scale. It's visually striking and helps elevate the car beyond the standard perception of just an entry-level city vehicle. It certainly supports the argument that this can be a really attractive electric car, not just a functional one.
And the interior follows that functional aesthetic, I gather. The cabin is smartly designed and focused entirely on, well, function.
Function first, yeah.
Reviewers noted the use of hard plastics, which is understandable given the cost constraints, but how does the build quality compensate for that? Does it feel cheap?
The reports indicate that while hard plastics are present, the overall build quality feels solid. It avoids feeling cheap.
Okay.
Moreover, the design cleverly integrates features we know listeners appreciate, like actual physical buttons for climate control,
Oh, thank goodness.
rather than burying everything in the touchscreen, right? That balance shows a commitment to usability over just pure digital minimalism.
Good call. And no compromise on modern connectivity either. You still get seamless integration via the 10.25-inch touchscreen with both Apple CarPlay and Android Auto.
Yep, all present and correct. So despite its size, it feels current.
It absolutely feels current. And they really maximize the space, you were saying.
They did. The rear seats, for example, can even be adjusted to a reclining position for comfort, which is pretty unusual in this small segment.
Reclining rear seats in a car this size. Wow.
But we must be clear. The car is strictly a four-seater,
Right. 4 seats only.
with boot space that is modest but adaptable. These are the necessary compromises to achieve that urban agility and that lower cost.
Makes sense. Now, let's talk about the driving experience and handling. This is key for a city car. Reviews summarize the experience simply as fun to drive. What does that mean in practice for a driver navigating, say, Rome or London?
Fun to drive, in this context, suggests they prioritized agility and immediate response.
Okay.
Due to its compact size and lightweight construction, partly resulting from that smaller battery, it's described as agile and easy to maneuver.
Nimble.
Very nimble. The steering is responsive, making it ideal for those tight city streets and, importantly, parallel parking effortlessly.
Ah, the parking test. Crucial.
It avoids the heavy, slightly numbed feeling that some larger, heavier EVs can suffer from. It delivers on the promise of an energetic city runabout.
Okay, so if we connect this to the bigger picture of ownership, we need to discuss reliability and market position. What can we expect from the Inster as a long-term purchase? Is it built to last?
Well, Hyundai already has a very strong reputation for reliable EVs and generally offers a solid warranty, which the Inster naturally follows.
Okay, good baseline.
Regarding external validation, the car achieved a total EV test score of 14 out of 18 points. That's pretty solid.
14 out of 18, not bad at all.
And crucially, it received a particularly high mark of 12 points specifically for design.
12 points for design, so people agree it looks good.
Seems so, yeah. Supports the positive feedback we've been hearing about its looks and that unique styling.
That's a strong endorsement then. Now the big question, cost and efficiency. We acknowledge the geographical quotes vary wildly, but the target affordability seems clear. Sources point to an expected price point of sub 30,000 euros in certain European markets.
That's the target, yeah. Sub 30K euros. And if we look at Australian pricing, just as another example, the base version starts at less than $40,000 AUD,
Under 40K Australian.
with the extended range version sitting around $42,990 AUD. But beyond just the sticker price, efficiency is absolutely central to its identity.
Right.
The sources specifically mention metrics like the PK index and EVBB average consumption.
Okay, since we are expert guides here, maybe let's quickly contextualize those technical references for the listener. What are the PK index and EVDB consumption telling us about the Inster? Why mention them?
Yeah, that's vital context. The PK index generally refers to the vehicle's power-to-weight ratio in an efficiency context.
Yeah.
Basically, how much energy it needs to move its mass.
Okay, less mass, better score.
Exactly. Because the Inster is small and uses a manageable 49 kilowatt battery, it immediately scores well here. It's inherently efficient by design.
Got it. And EVDB?
Similarly, mentioning the EVDB, which is the electric vehicle database, average consumption highlights that this car is designed to be a top performer in real-world energy consumption tests.
So low running costs.
Low running costs are essentially baked into the core design, reinforcing that whole idea of the essential economical EV.
So we have a great, efficient, affordable, nice-looking, and fun car. But here's the market paradox the sources raised.
Ah, yes, the puzzle.
While they see this as a compelling low-cost choice, especially against larger rivals or maybe emerging Chinese alternatives, Hyundai doesn't seem to be marketing it as a potential bestseller.
Strange, right?
Yeah, the reviewer found this a real shame, suggesting this car appeals strongly to those driving traditional city cars like, say, a Suzuki Swift or a Toyota Yaris, who are now maybe looking for a practical electric alternative.
This raises a fascinating strategic question, doesn't it? Why would a company introduce such a seemingly perfectly targeted and affordable product and not push it hard to the mass market?
What are the theories?
Well, there are a few possibilities. Perhaps they're just testing the waters in specific markets before a wider rollout. See how it goes.
Maybe.
Maybe they're concerned about cannibalizing sales of their slightly larger, arguably more profitable EVs, like the Kona Electric.
Internal competition.
Could be. Or they might just be dealing with the persistent industry perception that high-volume sales must come from higher-margin crossovers, not small city cars, even if the city cars make more sense for many buyers.
Interesting. Regardless of Hyundai's internal strategy, what it means for you, the listener, is that this car represents an excellent, perhaps almost overlooked, value proposition.
Definitely.
It challenges the prevailing market trends. It is, maybe, the perfect distillation of what an urban EV should be.
Absolutely. To summarize everything we've discussed, the Hyundai Inster is a very carefully targeted vehicle. It makes specific, intentional compromises. You get 4 seats, a smaller boot, moderate acceleration.
The trade-offs we talked about.
Exactly. But it makes them to deliver truly excellent affordability, agility, and urban practicality without the excess range that, honestly, most people pay for and rarely use.
Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the Inster, the beautiful little EV that thinks big about necessity, not excess.
And thank you for engaging with these sources and challenging conventional thinking alongside us today.
Our final provocative thought for you to mull over. If the true cost of an EV is defined not just by the sticker price, but fundamentally by the material and environmental impact required to build its battery, does building a vehicle with just enough range, like the Inster, become the most responsible and arguably the smartest choice you can make? Think about that the next time you see a massive, mostly unused battery pack commuting solo down the motorway.